Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Vish-O-Pedia. This is Vishal here, and I'm going to talk about depression, the causes of depression. Now there are three main causes. First one is chemical disbalance. So instance, your brain is not producing enough serotonin, which is causing you depression. Second one is heredity, that your parents or ancestors have experienced depression in their life, which you're carrying forward in your life as well. Third one is psychological. Psychological is that what we face on everyday basis, what we see, what we feel, what we sense on an everyday basis, and that becomes a cause of depression. Now today I'm going to talk about psychological one. Now psychological, if I break it down into its different forms or different steps. So first one I would say is emotion, second one is anger, and third one is trigger. So what is emotion? If you research the definition of emotions, you will find that they say that it's a strong feeling deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationship with others. When we interact with other people, we start expecting something out of them. And when they do not meet the expectation, what happens is our expectation, we are expecting something from them on this level, but they're not meeting the standard. You will automatically feel that why it is not happening, and then it will cause a very strong emotional roller coaster inside you, right? For example, a guy is in a relationship with a girl in relationship, they both expect something from each other, but if one person is not meeting the expectation, that can become a cause of depression in the other person's life. Okay, now in 1972 there was a psychologist, his name was Paul Ekman. He said there are 6 basic emotions which everybody experience. What are these 6 basic emotions? So for example, first one, or you can say number 1 is fear, right? Everybody experience fear. Second one is disgust. We feel disgust. Third one is anger. Then we got the fourth one, surprise. Fifth one is happiness, and sixth one is sadness. Now we all, as per the psychologist, he said that we all experience these 6 emotions on different levels, right? So how do we feel emotions? We use our 5 senses. Sometimes, yes, you can use 6th sense as well, but we use 5 senses to experience an emotion. So it could be, you could use one sense, or you can use multiple senses. So for example, if you're watching a horror movie, right? You're watching it and you're hearing it. So audio and visual. If you turn off the sound of it, and then you're just watching the video, and you play some other audio, maybe a song or something, would you feel scared? Would you feel the horror of that movie? You would not. If you turn off the video and just let the audio play, would you feel exact amount of fear or scaredness of that movie? Maybe not. It's because when you're watching a movie, you're engaging with that with 2 senses, and then your mind is creating an emotion of fear. Okay. Second one, I would say, example is a relationship, right? So when you get into a relationship with someone, you talk to them, you see them, you touch them. So you are using multiple senses to create an emotion inside you. More senses you use, stronger the emotion gets. You would have seen guys, people with one-sided love. They have never spoken to a person, they have just seen them. They have never spoken to a person. They've never touched them, but they still feel very strongly, emotionally connected with that person, because they have used their visual to very, very strong extent, where they have started creating a story in their head about that person, which is releasing a lot of emotions inside them. A third example I would give is taste. When you taste, food cooked from your loved one, if you taste the same food in the shop, it will not give you that emotion. But if your loved one cooked the food, you will taste it differently, because now you are adding an emotion of your loved one who has cooked that food for you. Okay. So these are the various ways of creating an emotion inside you. Now, second one is anchoring. How do we anchor? What is an anchor? So you would have seen a ship. Everybody would have seen the ship, right? Ship has an anchor. What is the job of an anchor? When they drop it in the ocean, it helps the ship not to drift. So if they release the anchor in the ocean, it goes in the bottom of the ocean, hits the sand. If the current is very strong and if it drifts the ship, the more ship is drifted, stronger the anchor gets, right? Same thing happens with us. We create anchor, and then we uses these 5 senses to create an anchor. Once we have anchored an emotion inside us, more we want to forget about it, more we get engaged into it. And there is a classic example for it. When your heart is broken, you know that that person has moved on over you. You know that they are living their life, but you are still engaged in that emotion because you have anchored that emotion inside you deep. More you want to forget it, stronger it gets, right? So that is anchoring. Now anchoring can be done in many ways, right? There are a lot of techniques which are used to anchor a different emotion. You can purposely install an anchor, right? And you can purposely uninstall an anchor. So there are various techniques. I'm gonna make a separate video about anchoring purposely and de-anchoring or uninstalling an anchor purposely, so that you can get out of that emotion of being depressed or being stuck in that roller coaster of that emotion. Okay, so that was about anchoring. Now the third one, the last one, is trigger. What is trigger? So you all would have seen a gun. So gun has a trigger, right? So gun is loaded, it has got bullets in it. Then you press the trigger. When you press the trigger, what happens? The gun will shoot a bullet. Same thing happens with our emotions. If we have anchored an emotion, while we are anchoring an emotion, we install a trigger simultaneously, right? So what happens? So for example, you're madly in love with someone, right? Because you're very high in emotion, you're madly in love, you will listen love songs. So what is going to happen is that love song will become a trigger. So after years, even if you're separated, when you will hear that song again in your life, you will immediately go back to that stage and you will think of that person straight away. Trigger could be of anything, right? You can sometimes tasting food, smell. How many times it happened with you that you walk past through a restaurant, you smell food over there, and then immediately you're like, oh, my mom used to cook that food, right? It's very obvious. How many times did it happen that when you smell a specific scent, it reminded you of someone immediately? Because those are the triggers. Trigger work is to take you back into that emotion which is anchored inside you. I hope you like this video. I want to do another video on how to combat depression. And there are various techniques which are used in neuro-linguistic programming, or you can say psychology or meditation, traditional meditation. So if you want me to do another video on it, please write it in the comment box. If I'll get enough comments that yes, people want me to do a video on how to get out of this anchoring of an emotion, then I will definitely do a video. Thanks for watching my channel. This is Vishal here, signing out. Keep watching, like, subscribe, share. Vish-O-Pedia. Thank you very much.